What's up, Scrappy Peeps? It's Adele from Inkie Quill, and I'm up today with a Project Life challenge over on the Citrus Twist blog. So my challenge for you today, oh, look at all of those puffies on that sticker sheet. It's ridiculous. So today I'm working with the March embellishment kit as well as the Pocket Life kit, which is here in my hands. And in all honesty, this arrived the day that I filmed this. I was too excited and I wanted to get in, so I hadn't actually looked at it yet. So I'm kind of looking at it with you as I figure out what I'm going to use today. But my challenge for you today is kind of photo related. So I'm challenging you to do 3 things on a Project Life, either a single page or a double page, depending on how you scrap. My first one is to use a collaged photo. So in that bottom right hand corner, you can see that I've got 4 photos of Arch all together, and I want you to embellish on it. So that's the trick. I want you to do a collage photo and embellish on it. It can be a 4x6 if you'd like to. It can just be 2 photos together. It could be more, whatever you like. I use the Project Life app on my phone to collage my photos, but there's tons of other ones. I know there's Pick Frame. There's quite a few collaging apps that you can find. My next challenge is to use some black and white photos in your week. I really like using black and white photos when either a photo is too colourful, a photo is too green, because I can't work well with green, or a photo is very grainy. So if it's a photo that's taken late at night or low quality, I've zoomed in too far, it's really simple to change it to black and white, and it just helps it look not as bad. And my third challenge for you today is to use a screenshot of something. So instead of looking for just photos that you've taken yourself, either screenshot something off social media, so off Instagram or Facebook, or you could screenshot a text message from someone, or you could screenshot maybe a movie poster of a movie that you saw that week, something that's not just a normal photo. So they're my 3 challenges for you for this week. I'd love to see if you do share anything. If you share it on Instagram, you can always tag me in it. I'd love to see what you make. So first up, I've got this photo of Arch in front of a window, and it was just a random photo that I took. He was looking out. I think he was looking at rain at this point. He's very fascinated with outside, but particularly with rain. P.S. He's also getting fed in the background in the room behind me by Aaron. So if you hear any growls or cries or squeals of delight, it's just a baby being fed. I'm using some of the hearts here. I've got a puffy heart from the puffy sticker sheet that came in the Pocket Life kit. And then, you know, I can't do anything without my gold glitter hearts. So that's from my stash. I always just sneak them in my process videos because I just can't do without them. I'm adding a bit of a doodly border here because I often feel when I do cards that have a smaller photo on a larger card, that a doodly border kind of makes everything look like it's meant to be there and it's not going to fall off the page. I know that's silly, but that's just my mentality of a doodly border. Now moving on to the next card. Oh, and I always get asked how I print these photos smaller. I just use the Project Life app. I have got a half-filmed process video on how I edit and print my photos. So that will be coming up probably not until April though. So here I've got a screenshot of an Instagram post where I joined the Flutter by Designs DT. It's an Aussie scrapbooking company over here. And so I'm adding an extra puffy because I thought this puffy flower, not a heart, really went with this card. Something that I think I don't do enough is challenge myself with these journaling cards that have a specific shape for your journaling spot. I often find them tricky to work with because I feel like they need a photo or something with them. So I'm trying to use them by kind of breaking what they're meant to be designed for. So it was, instead of just using it as a circle to write in, I changed it up and added that square photo just to make it a little bit different. And it kind of makes it look like the journaling is layered behind the photo, which I really, really like. So I'm adding a dashed border for this one here, and I like to change it up sometimes do a doodly, sometimes do a dash, just to make them not all look identical but still make them flow and look like they belong together like a collection. So next up, my light is going crazy here. Next up, we've got this series of 3 photos of Archie, and I love to embellish these collaged photos of 4 photos with just a simple something in the center of them. Say that 5 times fast. But I think just by adding something where all of those photos meet, it creates it kind of just brings them all together, and it makes it a bit softer without those harsh lines of them meeting in the center. Just using the stamp here, and I did have a bit of trouble with this layout and making the stamp set work, and that's perfectly fine. But this yay just completely summed up Archie's face in the photos on that collage piece, because he likes to just squeal with delight and just shake his head like crazy. That's his form of dancing, and he just likes to do it at any time that he feels like he's going to get chased. He loves to play chasing games, and he has a very cheeky giggle, and you know when he does that giggle and comes over to you and then runs away, that he's ready for game time. I'm using I used a lot of the puffy stars. I made this layout and another layout at the same time, and I used a lot, especially these little ones. I really like the little size. But this card's done, and I've paired it with that one, and it's good to go. Next up, I've got this little photo of Archie and Aaron, and they were just hanging out on the floor, just lying down together. And I just thought it was really cute because Archie had reached over and grabbed Aaron's hand and was just resting it in there, and then he had his other little hand resting on Aaron's chest, and it was just a little moment that I wanted to capture. I really enjoy taking photos from a bird's eye point of view. I think it's a nice change, and it gives a different perspective to the moment. I especially like doing this with, of course, food, but then also if you're trying to capture little details like I've done it with Archie's feet and toes, or a plant, or something that you want to capture the finer details of. It's quite nice to do. Next up, I really love when I take a photo of my art supplies. I love embellishing the center of the photo, and I think the reason why I like that is because it doesn't take away from the photo itself. You can still tell what it is, you can still recognize the things in the photo, but it just adds a different design element than adding things on the side, which is what I usually do when I want to avoid sticking a label over someone's face. But when you're photographing inanimate objects like this, it's a lot easier to kind of get a bit playful with where you put embellishments. You don't always have to avoid people's facial features, for example. I love to overlap some of my stickers off the edge. I think it's just a fun way to make them look a bit interesting, I guess, and like they belong there. I like to ground all of my embellishments, whether that's through where they're placed or how they're layered together. I just think it makes it a bit more pleasing on the eye. Now, I go way over the top with my project lifing, and I think it's a style that I love, but it's not something that you have to embrace with your own scrapbooking. That's the thing I love about scrapping, is that everyone has their own styles, and you can get inspiration from other people and interpret it in your own way. So for example, for this card, if you really like the idea of putting something over the top of a photo of inanimate objects like this in the center, you could just put one little word right in the middle and leave it at that. You don't have to go to the trouble of adding the star embellishments or adding stamping like I am here and 50 million other things. You can just take the technique and interpret it in your own style. So I'm adding another star because, you know what, 2 stars isn't enough, need to add a third one. And then moving on to my next photo here. I love this. My mum and dad bought Archie this train for Christmas, and he freaking loves it, but he's a bit scared to ride it himself. He does like to be put on it and just kind of pushed around, but he's slowly getting the idea of how to move it himself, which is really sweet to watch. I love using these labels and chopping them in half because you get twice as many labels for the price of one. But also sometimes with Project Life, you only need a teeny tiny label. You don't need a huge big thing. Sometimes you do, but sometimes you don't. Just using my Staedtler pigment liners in, I can't read it, 0.1, 0.2, something like that. And just writing a tiny bit of journaling here. Goodness, there's a very loud van outside my road. Goodness me. Anyway, tangent. I told you I get very tangenty at this. I have, by the way, moved my craft room, so I'm now out in a different area. I will have a video on YouTube in a few months' time. My patrons saw a video probably a couple of weeks ago when you see this of my new setup, but I'm loving it at the moment, and it's hopefully going to let me film a lot more videos for you guys too. So the layout's all done. It was really quick and easy to do. I can't get enough of puffy stickers of any kind. And when I saw that whole sheet of stars, it made me very, very happy. Now I just need a whole sheet of hearts in like pinks and turquoise and reds, and I'll be set. Oh goodness, Archie's getting very excited in the background there. All right guys, thanks so much for tuning in today. Don't forget to tag me if you do this challenge, and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.